Welcome to Whiskey's a Journey. My name is Peter Fassino. Today is Friday, and I do believe I am back on track with my Friday videos now that my Best Of series has been finished for a week now. If you are new to this channel within 6 months, prior to my Best Of series, I was doing First Friday Flight Fights, I was doing Bottle Battles, and then I was doing a Random Friday video, I believe like a top 5 video. I think I'm going to get back to doing that. But today, this Friday, the second Friday of April, I'm going to end up doing a Battle of the Bottles. I have no idea what's in either of these glasses. These are drawn from my sample pool. I just have a little sticker on the bottom that tell me what they are. I've already poured them, put a cap on there, and I didn't want the nose to influence my ideas right off the bat. So I'm going to end up tasting these things side by side and then trying to figure out what they are as far as a bourbon, a rye, an Irish, a single malt, and a Scotch single malt. It could be anything from my collection. I put these samples in there because of price, because of similarities, something that's expensive or inexpensive. I don't know what it is. So let's go ahead and get the lids off of these and let's figure out what we got. I think I'm going to, you know what? They smell like a rye. I can already smell pine, but let's go ahead and get into glass number 1 on my right. Yeah, this is definitely rye. They are both just hitting my nose as a pine forest, but I could be wrong. Let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to start on my right. I'm going to nose it, taste it, give a rinse of water, move on to glass number 2, and then figure out which one I like the most. I'll probably have to A/B compare it, and I'll probably just speed that part up. So if you are going to like this information and you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on. I produce and release videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. All right, let's go ahead and get onto the nose with glass number 1. Definitely a rye. This is nothing but pine needles in a forest. Green pine needles. A little bit of dill, or a little bit of dill, and I got some vanilla. All right, let's get it on the palate. Wow, I'm going to be shocked if this is not a rye. Now there's a little bit of spearmint or menthol in there, almost like spearmint gum. Actually, you know what? It tastes really good. I'm not a big rye fan, but this is hitting me as really nice. Pretty high in the ABV. I can feel it heating up my mouth. It's dropping down into my chest. All those vanilla sweet notes along with the menthol, the pine needles. This is good. All right, let's go ahead and get a rinse and go on to glass number 2. All right, glass number 2. I hope it's as good as glass number 1. Actually, I hope it's not as good, so this would be an easy decision to make. All right, this has a different sweetness and a different type of dill note that this one had. I don't get as much pine as I do from this one. Smells a little bit more astringent, but a minty spearmint note is coming out as well with a little bit, like I said, a little bit of astringency. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the palate. Moderate proof. I think they're pretty comparable. Heats up. This one actually is saturating underneath my tongue. It's kind of resting back here in the back of my throat. I don't get a chest burn on this, but I did on that. This has a little bit more oak as well, and that oak might be coming across as a little bit of barrel tannin on the side of my tongue. Initial thoughts, I'm kind of preferring glass 1 over glass 2, but I need to go back the other direction, give a rinse, really concentrate on what I'm getting, and then when I come back, I'll let you know my final thoughts. All right, I don't have to prolong this any longer. I know my order, I know my preference. I like glass 1 more than glass 2. It has a sweeter note, the pine, menthol, vanilla note, the sweetness, and a little bit of a dill note. All of that seems to be pretty good and cohesive. There's an astringent note that's coming out of glass number 2 that is not quite my profile. I think the pininess and the dill that I'm getting in here are a little bit stronger than I like, which is probably one of the reasons why I'm not much of a fan of rye, because of how strong those pine and dill notes are coming through. So I think because this is sweeter with sweeter vanilla notes, kind of pushes me over to this glass. As far as what they are, I would be shocked if these were not ryes. I think that the proof is probably gonna be somewhere around 110 or higher, because as I was going back and forth, they do build quite a bit. So I think the ABV on these are quite high. But in the end, glass number 1 is my preference over glass number 2. So let's go ahead and figure out what it is that we're drinking. And you know what I'm drinking, but you don't know what is in each glass until right now. So in glass number 2, I was drinking Pikesville Rye. So I'm happy that I figured out that they were a rye. And in glass number 2, what did I prefer over Pikesville? Wild Turkey Rare Breed. So Wild Turkey Rare Breed beat out the Pikesville Rye. Give me 1 second. I want to grab the bottles, do a little bit of research, and I want to figure out why I put these in the matchup. I think one of the reasons is their proof. I think they're pretty even with their proof, but I want to double check. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, so I am back. I had Pikesville over here, and I had Rare Breed over here. So just taking a look at the labels and then doing really quick research on this, I believe I put them in there because of the proof ranges. They were very, very similar, and I think their mash bills are very similar. So this is what I ended up getting. I've got Pikesville at 110 proof and Wild Turkey right there on the label, 112.2 proof. I think their mash bills, or I know their mash bills are very similar because I wrote it down. We've got a mash bill in Pikesville of 51% rye, 59 corn, and 10% malted barley. Wild Turkey is 51% rye, 37% corn, and 12% malted barley. So it looks like we're a little bit higher in the corn, less on the corn, less on the malted barley, higher on the malted barley. Prices seem to be pretty even. This one was $51.99. The Pikesville at the time that I purchased it, $51.99. The Wild Turkey, $47.99. If you have done this matchup, which one do you prefer? And kind of give me a reason why. I was amazed looking at the back of the bottle that this one said at least 6 years. So it's aged at least 6 years. I don't know, and I didn't research the age of Rare Breed barrel proof rye. If you know, let me know in the comments down below. But I thought I picked up a little bit more barrel or a little bit more oak on this one than this one. The bitterness on the side of the tongue was also one of those things that contributed to the reason why I liked the Wild Turkey, now that I know that, over the Pikesville. So there you have it. That's where I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna do a little bit of a blend here, debating on whether I'm gonna grab another Glencairn and just put a little bit of both in a glass. All right, a little bit of each one in the glass. Ooh, add a little bit more of the Pikesville. All right, roll this around in the glass and see what we're coming up with. And I still get a lot of spearmint. That menthol note is coming through. I think there's more pine than dill. And that vanilla note, that sweetness, I don't think I'm getting very much at all. It does. It smells like bubblegum, spearmint bubblegum. Let's go ahead and get it on the palate. No, I think the astringency that I'm getting out of this comes through. There is sweetness, and I think that sweetness might be a little bit more of a bubblegum note minus the spearmint, just a sugar sweetness. It's lacking some depth. It's lacking some character. I can't really necessarily pull those individual notes out like I could them individually. So it's a blend that I think you can skip. But again, for me, Wild Turkey comes out on top with this bottle battle. Again, let me know in the comments down below if you have had either of these in a blind battle. Where did they end up for you? What are some of your favorite rye whiskeys? Let me know in the comments down below. And if I have them in my collection, maybe I'll throw them into a sample and see what I think about them blind. Just like always, wherever you're at in your journey, I hope you're enjoying it. And until the next time, we'll talk to you later. Bye.